Welcome. This is Say a Prayer, guys. May Nigeria never happen to you. My name is Richie Adeusi. It's a pleasure to have you join me on this episode. This episode, we are zeroing on the fact that this is not a time for anyone to keep quiet anymore. You know, all of the peoples of Nigeria, whether you are in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria, keeping quiet is no longer an option, even if it had been an option that you chose. At the top of this program, I think the very first episode, I shared a story about a friend of mine, an old schoolmate, whom I had wanted to join me on that, I think, first or second episode of the program. He said, Nigeria, now I've chosen not to say anything. Okay. But now, no matter what we feel, no matter what the issues have been, it's human beings that fix places. Okay? Sometimes people arrive at places of leadership, without planning. Unfortunately, that is true. At other times, people see leadership positions for what they are not. At times to enjoy party, show off, use power to intimidate other people, get what they want, and restrict or restrain other people from getting what's due to them. It usually would take maybe that neutral observer, okay, to make comments, to maybe draw the attention of such individuals to what the real issues are. That's what we try to do on this program. Of course, in that process, there's nature, as I said, abhors vacuums. So when you are saying this is not good enough, well, it stands to reason that you should be saying, maybe you should be thinking about this one. So if, or not if, as we make specific points to specific direction to specific individuals on this program, that's what we are doing. Not necessarily that we belong to, what they belong to in terms of political parties and all of that. I can't say enough that I don't belong to any political party anywhere, Nigeria, outside of Nigeria. No. I support individuals who seem to present what will make sense to what they are needed at specific points in time in the lives of whichever society, whichever environment I've found myself in over time, including Nigeria. So, welcome. And when we talk about the fact that keeping quiet is no longer an option, it's not as if people have not been speaking. Let's get that straight. But, we've had individuals who it seems that, that their job to speak out. No, it's everyone. The people who I choose to call the troublers of Nigeria have gotten away with things that have gotten away with because they've been able to single individuals out and hold them while the rest stand aside and look, like in that popular song by Bob Marley, Redemption Song. This is not the time to stand aside and look. This is not the time to sit on the fence anymore by anyone. Luckily, people have been speaking, but more people need to speak. We're going to start this live stream today with a poll. I did not tell my guys this, okay? Guys, sorry, but we're going to start with a poll. And we're going to, have that poll go on for like 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll look at who has said what, or what carries the day, and then we speak to that issue from that point. Now, what's the poll about? Simple. What, in your opinion, is the greatest need of Nigeria at this time? Okay, you will have two options, okay, to choose from. The economy, one, security, two. So let's have that poll going. Okay, let's have that poll. So if it's economy that you feel is the greatest challenge Nigeria has at this time, yeah, vote economy. If it's security, vote security. So we can, the poll is there on YouTube, or sorry guys, on TikTok. For you to participate, you need to log on to our YouTube channel at May Nigeria Never Happened to You, so you can participate in that poll as well. So let's vote, okay? Let's vote. Let's vote. Meanwhile, as we are waiting to get the results that we need to get to speak on the reason for which we decided to make that poll, conduct that poll. I will tell you, I like to tell stories, right? Good. In 1995, as a young man, my, early 30s, I was expecting a baby, and we chose to move. Well, we just acquired a property in the area of Lagos called Lagos in Nigeria, Southwest Nigeria, called Omoli Phase 1. And it was quite a reserved environment, as in was not city. Where we moved from was, if you like, at the heart of an area of Lagos called Ogba, Ijaye Road in Ogba, to be precise. As a matter of fact, 51, 52 Ijaye Road, that's where we moved from. And when we acquired this property on a street called Badino Street in Omoli Phase 1. We moved in, it was a large property, and it was for both business and residents. And as we were settling down, then the National Environmental Sanitation, they were religiously followed and observed. And by the way, it was in the heat again of the June 12 crisis, okay, and all that followed it, the Abacha regime and all of that. So even as we moved in, it wasn't on. It was unusual for us to hear gunshots at night, and then whistles, people blowing whistles, and people are shooting. In that, wow. So on a particular environmental Saturday, we had visitors that I didn't know who they were. I was new in the environment, so I didn't know nothing, and I didn't know nobody in the environment. But a group of people were at the gate that early morning. They knocked. The gate man opened the gate and said they wanted to see the person that owned the property. I could hear the exchange between the gate man and themselves. The gate man was like, "You should tell them why they want to see him." And I listened to how they were responding, so I came out and I invited them. And they're like, "Oh, they are the landlord and tenants association in that section of the estate, the Omole estate." And asked me questions, what do I do, and all of that. I responded. And they were like, well, the reason they visited was that they noticed that I am new in the environment. I said, yes, just moved in, maybe a couple of weeks. By that time, the baby too had arrived. So they were like, okay, congratulations, and all of that. And they're like, they have some rules, okay, in the estate that every new tenant or landlord that moved in was required to own a firearm. I'm like, excuse me? They say yes. And have I had shootings in the night here before? I said, yeah. I mean, I was disturbed. I was worried. They say yes. Well, that there's a lot of robbery issues, and because of that, they had um, arranged for tenants and landlords to acquire firearms so that even if it's not in their particular area that a robbery incident or some security issues were happening, that once people had the whistle being blown, they should come out and just start shooting in the air. Oh, really? Okay. And I said, well, I've not had anything to do with the last time I saw anything called a gun was during the Biafra War, and that was a long time ago, and that was as a child. It wasn't as if I was a combatant, but then I saw a lot of guns and what guns could do. And they said, no, no, don't worry, you don't have to. This is how much it will cost you. All you just do is make your contribution for the money and then the documents for, then we'll also get you somebody that will teach you how to shoot, how to use the gun. Like, whoa. That was during a time of just regular civilian uh, criminals and robberies, that was actually at an all-time high in Lagos at that time. A neighborhood association, landlord-tenant association, had such clout to acquire fire for their members legally, I must add, because they get you the license. And let's check to see what has happened with the poll here. Okay. All right. Okay. I brought that story up because, wow, okay. Okay, I have a result here. Um, it's not 10 minutes yet, but then I do have an impressive result here. 78% says security, 22% says economy. I guess so. I guess that much, but I didn't want to make it about my uh, conclusions. So I threw it open to community members to vote, in the poll. I guess so, and that should be anybody in Nigeria right now, even any person from Nigeria, whether you live in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, and you don't think that the issue of security should be the number one priority. Of course, in that bouquet includes the issue of unity, but then, and the story I told you carries both. If the landlords and tenants association there was no unity, that station would not exist. If they weren't able to assess to know what the biggest challenge to residents of the story estates was at that time, they won't come up with going to wherever to acquire legal rights to get firearms for their members. They were united, they assessed correctly, and they did the right thing. And I can tell you that that shooting continued till we had to move out of that estate. Okay? Now, the video I'm going to play you now, I was actually going to use it to play it to end the live stream today, but on second thought, I said, no. We're saying don't keep quiet, but let's start from a point of action, not just talk alone. Okay, let's start from action. It's the DSS, the director of DSS, I think the director general of DSS, making a speech, which I find to be, well, the most organized, the calmest, and, if you like, the most reasonable and legitimate speech coming from any of the state actors, especially those who are responsible for security. We've been having a cacophony of messages. Arm yourself, defend yourself. And I've been asking how, why? It has the acquisition of legal firearms become legal in Nigeria? Is it no longer illegal for you to just go and get firearms? I've also asked the question. I have seen some posts online where some so-called vigilantes pose with military-grade weapons as what they use to repel, well, bandits or terrorists, whichever the case might be. And I'm like, are you guys for real? Even in the narrative I just gave you about the landlord-tenants association, what you have, I don't know if it has changed. What I knew you have, permits to own in Nigeria was firearms that use pellets. Yes, pump action, double barrel gun. Yeah. Okay. So to now here, arm yourself. And it wasn't just I've told you how it happened. In that group, you had some retired security personnel that were residents or landlords. They followed due process. And when I listened to this director, I think Director General of the DSS, and when I listened to him and what, I'm like, finally, somebody is talking sense now. And that's why I checked my mind to say, let's start from there. Instead of, I asked for the video to be played as I end, and then I don't point out some issues, some talking points from it. No, I changed. So no, let's get started with this. And what did he say? He gave examples, verifiable examples. And then he called for action, calmly, not raising his voice, not agitated in any way. Organize, come to us, and then we would. So organize community groups. Don't sit back and say, oh, it's in the rural areas that they are happening. No, things are beginning to happen in urban environments. So tenants associations, community associations, landlord associations, I think this is 31 years ago, almost. 31 years ago that I had that confrontation to say you have to own firearm because you now live here. Look around you. If you got this house, you also have to ship up. And yes, so if you haven't thought about that, that's why when we say keeping quiet, it's not just talking. You have to take action to protect yourselves. But I felt better. I felt a lot more fired up to discuss this way because of this video that you're going to watch and listen to now. So let's hear the Director or General of the DSS speak. Then we'll come back. Okay.
Thinking seriously about the practical approach to mobilizing to curb insecurity, I'll share experience with you when I was state director in Bauchi. Most of you will remember an incident in Azari. A group of terrorists, the Boko Haram, then had invaded Azari. They were shooting in an attempt to kidnap, and the community chased them. They killed some members of the community, but the community members killed all of them. The last guy, Khalid, climbed onto a tree and was firing. The community stood, they were resilient, and they killed Khalid. Since that day, there has not been one terrorist attack in Azad. As a matter of fact, the former head of state, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, said, and I quote, "If we want to stop or curb this terrorism, we shall emulate the Azari example." Tafawa Balewa also happened to be a local government in Bauchi that was always in flames. And the people of Bogoro and some part of Tafawa Balewa, where the Sayawas are, rose up on one occasion. They knew their terrain better, climbed onto trees and mountains. And when the invaders came, they did not only repel them, they seized their weapons. And since then, you can attest to it that you hardly hear about Tafawa Balewa again. What I'm trying to say, the practical approach to mobilizing people, is that you have to get everyone involved. You do not expect the Nigerian Army, police, DSS, to protect every Nigerian or every community. It is not going to work. In the US, if you visit someone in the house, you will be shocked that when the guy hears a police siren, he will just pull his drawer, bring out his gun and keep it. So one of my hosts did that, and I asked him, "Why are you putting gun here?" He said, "Well, if they are chasing someone and he enters my house, I'll shoot him first." And that is the layer we have to start thinking about. How can you create first line of defense? The military, police, and other security agencies are to deal with the bigger ones, the organized ones. But it is impossible for us to deploy it to every community in the country. It is unimaginable that any security agencies that has the resources to do it. So as we live here, we all belong to one community or the other. What we have to start experimenting is how we can make the community to prepare first, if the first line of defense for us. General Wahab said it clearly. And for me, there are 3 takeaways from his lecture. By the way, the general and I were guest speaker at one program in our office, so I'm not surprised that his dexterity. He has developed some sort of expertise in what he does. But 3 things for me. He asked us a question. What is our own culture? Our culture is communal. We do things together. Festival together. Ceremonies together. Wedding ceremony, whatever. So why can't we fight some miscreants, some charlatans among us together? The community should say, "You cannot come here. This is what Tafawa Balewa has done. If you go to that community to attack them, you'll be sorry for yourself." I challenge anybody to try it. And this is the way we have to do. We have to allow some level of armament for the communities, and they can serve as the first line of defense. Second takeaway from what the general said. Whole society approach is not the first time we are hearing. But what I'm saying, the way to do it is when we live here, those of us who have some influence, the elites in society, discuss with your communities, come to us, get some sort of approval and guidance, and then we can stop these criminals. You can imagine you call sector, let's say sector 4 or whatever, sector of the army, to come to this community if there's an attack. Before they even arrive there, If they attack another community, what happens? This is what we should take away from here. And lastly, he said something very instructive. By the way, I like Osman. He knows who to give time. Have you seen him around here? He has advised himself. So don't run into trouble like the CDS. Okay, so last thing he said to us, which is quite important, is that we should not make this another talk show. And that's why this is my intervention. That security starts from you. There's nothing that is new. 1870 something, I can't remember. The French Revolution, in the street of Paris, they were beheading people. We've had hijack of plane. We'll forget quickly. We've had the wet tear syndrome. We had so many. There's no Matasini and whatever. There will always be security problem. So when I hear people say this is security in Nigeria, as long as human beings exist, there will be security problem. The issue is the response. We have to take that mentality away. What is the security agencies doing? Who, apart from a tree, knows that they want to come and cut him and remain standing? Only a tree. We have to get the communities to rise and defend themselves first.
Welcome back. Well, it was quite a long video, but it's worth it. I found it to be worth it because the confusing outcries, confusing, instructions or direction or directives or acquire arms, defend yourself. My question had been, since when did the acquisition of firearms become legal? Like anybody could just go and pick up firearms and all of that. And then I talked about the military grade ones. I'm not aware that you can acquire military grade weapons in Nigeria. I don't think it has changed. Okay. But then whatever weapon that is legally obtainable, groups, this is a time to organize. In the cities, in the communities, community members that can afford should encourage young people, youths, to form vigilante groups within your village, within those your farming communities, okay? And then approach the DSS, pay for them to acquire whichever firearm are legal for them to have. Be that first line of defense, like the director himself said. When things are taken out of context, when officials like this make this kinds of statements, mischief makers could even single out some of the things he said and put them out of context, and then you begin to misquote him. Some of the other people who have said, I'm yourself. I've not had the full video. This one, I took my time to listen to the full, and some of those are just press statements. They are not videos that you could really maybe access like this one. So if he's saying, I'm yourself, your first line of defense should be yourself. There's something he said that, if taken out of context, would be very negative as well. And that's the issue of the Nigerian military, the defense, the security agencies cannot defend Nigerians. Taken out of context, it will mean an entirely different thing. But within the context in which he made that statement, it is true. that the security agencies cannot respond to every side of this. They're not talking about external, I mean, the traditionally known external invasion of Nigeria. This is an invasion in quote that has been perpetrated by people from inside. Even if some of them have come out to say that they imported foreigners to be part of this whole crisis and mess and unfortunate, and wanton killing of innocent Nigerians and peoples of Nigeria. Okay, what he said is true. But then, if you have what is available to you is not just that your telephone that you now use to call whichever security agencies that you know their number before, you don't know who going to pick the call, you don't know what their readiness capacity is about. But if you organize and you have your own groups, you engage the people while you are asking for support. Yes, that's what I found. One of the things I found very helpful in that video, in that his presentation. And to put to rest this whole issue of some of them that have been saying Nigeria Army cannot defend it. Nigeria Army can defend Nigeria. I stand there, I stand to say it, but Nigeria Army is not weak. Politicians have used politics to compromise the response of DSS. They know enough. What he said at some point in time might actually cost him his job. Not everybody who is in power or has access to power would be happy with that statement, with that video. It's a necessary video. It's a necessary information for the populace to have. The National Security Advisor, who probably should be in the position to have made this, what's he saying? No, put his statement side by side, the statements from the National Security Advisor, the statement from the Minister of Defense, the statement from the Chief of Defense Staff. Prodigal son, they are our brothers, and so forth and so on. No, I didn't get into any controversies about. We told you stories about what he had witnessed in the past, how communities responded, what you should do, and then spiced it up by saying, organize, come to us, approach us, we'll tell you what to do, get the necessary papers. Yes. It's at that level. That's what he just told you. Others had been shouting and just throwing words around. He calmly said to you, guys, wake up. That's what I found in that video. Take his advice. You have money to pay ransom. No, spend that money to equip your local communities. Spend that money to acquire firearms legally through the DSS for your village association, the youth in your community. I've shared on this program several different episodes about what I witnessed as a child growing up in a community, in a village of many communities, many villages around that environment, about the time of the end of the Civil War. Even before the end of the Civil War, that practice was there, but then we didn't know about it. We were city children, okay, until we had to become part of the village children. It could happen to anybody. You see, this book, there are many reasons I've written it, and there are many reasons you should read it. I've narrated, I'll repeat it here because it's in line with what this DSS director just said, and it's in line with what is happening now and what needs to happen. Community members from around that village, around the Ngwa people of Abia State, Southeast Nigeria, present Abia State. It wasn't Abia State then, it was East Central State that time after the Civil War. They had a challenge of having, outsiders called headhunters invade their communities at specific times of the year, especially during the farming and harvesting seasons, especially during the rainy season. Of course, rain in those parts of Nigeria was heavy rain and rainfall. So people who were isolated, cut out on their farms, from their way from the streams, or returning from one village market or the other to their homes and communities, often fell victims at that time. But the youth organized. The youths organized. Okay? And they was okay. Invade them. They know the people who are doing that. They are known, historically they are known, it's documented. But they organize and wait for them. And they never went back with their own heads. I've seen parts of the documentary made by Alabi Isama, where one particular clip where he alleged that a chief made meals for them and it was human flesh. And these are how these stories spread. That there are no southeastern Nigerian people that are, structured, intentional cannibals. No. So if the story I'm telling you here now can be skewed to say that the Ngwa people, which was what started going about, the Ngwa people were cannibals, they eat human flesh. No. It was more of, this is what's happened to you. And of course, within those villages, people always, some of those young people who are involved in those vigilante groups, they are known. Their relationship with regular villagers was always different because people knew who they were, the kind of things that it was. So, sorry, Colonel, General, whichever one is applicable to you, Alabi Sama, it's not true. Because I don't know why that should feature in a documentary to achieve what purpose. Okay? Still painting a people for who
recording in progress.
Else they can do but just to roll over. Yeah, so, no, wrong. Because those headhunters, what happened to those heads that they would have cut off and taken back to their own communities? They displayed those heads during their ceremonies, open ceremonies, celebrations, to celebrate their coming of age, because it was always age grades that were sent, to go to perpetrate those wicked acts. So as they are displaying, as they are dancing with those baskets with the human heads, of course, other communities, other people who would have heard of it, who would have seen it, would be like, wow, so just human, these people fear them. So there was a fear. Oh, this is a time these people are going to people will not go to farm. People will not go to the market. Going to the market will be what's happening now. But in all of that, the Ngwa people never went on the offensive of what the DG of DSS has said. Organize. Get united in your communities. In those communities, he used as examples, whether in Azare and other communities mentioned. The question, the other thing that I found well, before that, the question of the ask is, why are the security agencies themselves not looking cohesive, not looking united? Sabotage. Betrayals. Which is why somebody like that director will say, organize yourselves. Be united at your own level that you know yourselves. Take control of what you can be in charge of legally. So, kudos, okay? And now, we are not just talking security today, but incidentally, everything we're going to be talking about will look like, oh, we're discussing it, because this, I mean, I wanted to be sure that I'm not daydreaming, okay? But the result of the poll that that was sent to me a while ago, 78% say security is the most challenging issue in Nigeria now, and 22% say economy. You have to be alive to enjoy economy now. Don't you think so? Yes, you have to be alive. So the result of this poll, spot on. And because of a lot of things that we're talking about today are going to look like I said, is security, because everything comes down to that. Today is Friday, the 19th. Even while people from 3 different communities in Ekiti have been in captivity for over 1 month, including women and children. Some of them abducted from place of worship, the community itself, the school. But just like it's happening at the national level, what's important to the state government is election, is getting back in office. And the rest of supporters clapping and feeling it's not their business. And then it's all politics as usual. No. Just as happening at the national level. The wife of the president went to Ekiti State a couple of weeks ago. I don't think she made any mention or went to any of those communities. Just like what is happening at the national level with her husband and different places and areas where Nigerians have been in captivity, where Nigerians have lived in IDP camps. We started this program asking don't even, but it's spreading. The troublers of Nigeria and those who
recording in progress.
Remember the CBN deputy governor, Melafia, I think that was his name. Remember how he died after making a video calling out the powers that be and what terrorist leaders have told him was going to happen, the stages. And then suddenly, well, he died. Because he has known too much, he has spoken too much. Which of the things, I can't play so well, we could only play a certain amount of videos on one episode of the program. I would have played you his video to hear what he said. And they have become like Nostradamus' prophecies. They're coming to the cities now. They're coming to not rural environments and not in the forest. They're coming out of the forest. And so, which is why we started by saying you can follow the advice of the DSS director. Arm yourself. Defend yourself. Long, very long. Adeola Fayehu and one clergyman. So much was said in that video with data. I can't play it too long here. There's one particular data that man gave. He said all the people who are coming to Nigeria, who are the so-called invaders and all of that, maybe totally 450,000, maybe was the population of Nigeria. So it's about you, the people. Equip yourself, arm yourself, organize yourself into a resistance group. Chase these people out of Nigeria. The military follow rules, they follow orders. I will play you a video here in the course of this program. Of a soldier who, with his mates were given the death sentence. When you listen to that narrative, they had the equipment to deal with these terrorists, and gradually their superiors started withdrawing those equipment from them until they had nothing but just, and then it now looked like the terrorists were more powerful. It's all deliberate, it's all planned. So, organize, defend yourself. But along this trajectory of what you can do, what you cannot do, there's collusion, there are contrivances. If the people who are current and frequent travelers on the corridors of power are speaking, you can only listen and learn. Someone like me, I can only listen, learn, and draw your attention to say, did you hear this? Are you listening? Because what these people seem to be doing is, if we can do this to so people, who are you? Again, terrorize you, frighten you. Okay? And it's almost working. It should not work. It must not work. It should not be allowed to work. Okay? It should not be allowed to work. Where I come from, whether my paternal heritage or maternal heritage, they stand their ground. Both the Ngwa people and the Ekiti people, they stand their ground. What happens is what people allow to happen. But when the people get fired up and say, no, this is enough, it's enough. Did you hear about the Kliji War? Okay. Kliji War, go and find out. Okay. And then I just mentioned to you the response of local communities to headhunters. The other one you find readily in history books, it was called a riot. It wasn't a riot, it was a revolution. It was not a riot anything. The Aba women revolution of 1929. What was the reason for that? Some inhumane, unfair, inequitable pronouncements by government, by central government, by the colonial government. And the women said, no, this is not going to happen. In the southeast of Nigeria, spearheaded by people from Abia, present-day Abia. They call it the Aba Women Riot of 1921. Aba is in Abia State. It's not a riot. It's a revolution. You can't do this. You can't tax us. You can't bring tax. You can't have a government and we are not involved. Women know 1929. So what's our last? So stop waiting for the politicians to dictate the next thing you want to. They want you to focus on to discuss distractions that are creating for you. No, now organize, mobilize, organize, set agendas for them. They are coming to ask you to come and vote for them, whoever, whichever one of them, including Peter Obi, including Engineer Kwakwanso. Task them. Because if you do not tax them, you have nothing to hold them accountable for. Tomorrow, whichever one of them, you are waiting for them to tell you this is what we are going to do. We are going, even when you see somebody has said this is what I'm going to do, he didn't do it, he has not done it. So simple, there's no story about that person. Insane environment. And Nigeria has to become sane. Oh yeah, Nigeria has to become sane. So make your agenda. For us here, what they're saying, transitioning Nigeria back to regional governance is, but that transitioning, there's another key leg. That other key leg is the 1999, the so-called 1999 Constitution. And I'll draw your attention to something else that they also contrive to just get you talking. Have you noticed that all of them are writing books now and releasing books? And they're falling up on themselves to go to speak at those book presentation events. The latest one is General Abdullahi Abdulsalam Abubakar. And they would always choose to throw one bomb when they make such, when they get to their turn, and then call themselves out one by one, praising themselves, all the people who have created all the problems in Nigeria. They are praising themselves. They are documenting. You are just there, listen, and then maybe you look at who didn't speak one English correctly. That's what you are doing. That's not what you should do. He has written a book, and then he says, Abiola had a heart attack. The same way they say Abacha had a heart attack. That heart attack was the, yes, Abiola is telling us now. 26 or 27 years after. When you, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, need to tell Nigerians how come under your watch, within 1 year, Nigeria has what is at the root of even the present insecurity issues in Nigeria. Even at the root of the governance challenges in Nigeria. The so-called 1999 Constitution. Abacha died in 1998, June. General Abdulsalam Abubakar replaced him after the wrangling and all of that. And within that period, June 1998, to May 29, 1999, multi-religion society like Nigeria, under your watch, you decreed, it was decreed, which Nigerians were, who, with, what was the involvement of the peoples of Nigeria in battling that constitution? So General Abdulsalam should explain to us, not tell us Abiola did not die. The important thing is, it's on record. It's on record. In the same 1999, somebody, a very close associate of General Ibrahim Babangida, wrote a book. And inside the book, because it's not alleged, it's inside the book, so that's not alleged. No, it's a book. General Babangida is alive, has not come out to deny or contradict those statements in that book. That General Babangida, if anything, he confirmed it February of last year when he came out openly during his own book presentation to say, yes, Chief Abiola won that election and went ahead to read out. Everybody was thinking that this is too late. No. People must be accountable. General Gowon was not accountable in his own book. Now, General Abdullah Salam Abakar, no, you're not accountable, sir. You are making excuses. No, that's not time for making excuses. General Babangida did not make any excuse. You can like him, you can hate him. He said, everything happened under my watch. So my table, I take full responsibility. It's recorded. What are these other ones praising? This also are co-travelers in my journey. Babangida also, had to acknowledge the people who work with him. But then it didn't stop there. He picked salient, challenge Nigerian issues that he was and spoke to. What did General Absalom Abaka have to say about the 1999 Constitution? Sorry about that. What did General Absalom Abaka have to say about the batting of the 1999 Constitution? Of course, Nigeria needed a constitution. Go and check the 1963 Constitution. The regions had, what they did in 1999 Constitution is pack so many things into the exclusive list. So if he wanted to make a unitary government, but you killed him. But when you killed him, you didn't return governance issues to the regions. No. General Gowon retained the title of Supreme Leader. Didn't return civil service administration to the regions. No. And of course, worsened it. Splintered Nigeria into states. And the splintering has not stopped, has not solved any problem still. In the book that I'm referencing, that one of General Babangida's close associates wrote, that was published in 1999, it said in that book that General Babangida said, yes, Chief Abiola won the election, but that he can't announce it. If he announced it, they will kill him. Remember, please hold on to that word, they, because we are coming to that. Because Nigerians have to interrogate who are this day that had remained the constant decimal, that are so frightened people who present themselves for leadership in Nigeria, that they pay more attention to those days than the peoples of Nigeria. It's an issue, a very serious issue. You can go and look for that. You want me to give you the title? No. You want me to give you the name of the author? It's in the public domain. Find it. Research. And they will kill him. If General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida in 1993 was afraid that a group, that some people in Nigeria, he mentioned there's some people who, in that book, names were mentioned. One of the names now is the chairman of one of the political parties in Nigeria that wants to rule Nigeria. And you wonder what kind of rulership, and you see the kind of agenda they are throwing out. And you see that it's been a consistent agenda. I have been on this program, I've told you people here that the gang that is troubling Nigeria is not religious, it's not tribal. No, it's economic interest. One of the people that were named in that book, this person actually said that he will, if they swear, if General Babangida were to announce Chief Abiola as the winner of that 1993 election, this is still June. June 12th was just which day? It was last Friday, yeah? If they were to announce Chief Abiola that himself will shoot Chief Abiola at the inauguration, so he doesn't get sworn in. That person's name is David Mark. He's the chairman of the ADC, the party in Nigeria now called ADC. He's the chairman. David Mark became a senator. David Mark became, at a point, the #3 citizen in Nigeria, Senate president. David Mark is a Christian. David Mark is from Benue State, one of the states in Nigeria that have suffered the most when it comes to this issue of banditry, terrorism, and wanton killing of innocent, defenseless peoples of Nigeria within that region, within that state. What has been David Mark's reaction to any of those? David Mark is a chairman of the ADC. His daughter is a legislator in the APC. Freedom of association, Abi? No. These people are organizing the things that they are doing. They are organized. The joke is on you guys, the peoples of Nigeria, which is why you now need to be organized. Just as that clergyman in that interview with Adeola Fayun said, these people, their population, total population more than 450 in comparison to the touted population of Nigeria, depending on who is speaking, whether it's 220 million or 230 million, 250 or 280 million, depending on what is being shared or who is speaking. Again, trying to let you know that you have the numbers. You can run these people out of town, but you have to be organized about it. And you also have to know that there's sabotage internally, sabotage from the elite class, from the political class. You have to understand that. As a young child, I got interested in writing very early. And outside of reading Eze Goes to School, okay, yes, if you grew up in the time, you would have read Eze Go to School. I read the complete work of Shakespeare at that early age, primary school. It's not my own, it belonged to one of my elder siblings. The first book I read was Julius Caesar. I was fascinated how somebody, one person, somebody, anybody could put A plus B together to form a word form a sentence, sentence form a paragraph. I was fascinated and I felt I want to write, I want to be like this person. The next book I read in that complete work is Macbeth. And others followed till I finished that whole. But I picked these two out because for me, the challenging thing or concept or theme in those two books Betrayal from the inside. Years later, as I grew up, business, professionally, I got to read and know about the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, what you see from the outside or in books or those love story, this wonderful king built a tomb of love for his burial for his beloved wife. Yeah, so I said, I must go to see the Taj Mahal. I put it down as my number one place of tourism. Well, I went to some other places eventually before I had the opportunity now to go to India. And of course, long story short, I ended up in Agra, the city where the Taj was built. But they have a tradition. The tour guide said to me, there's a theater. Most people who go to see the Taj usually will go to that theater the previous night to watch the reenactment or the performance of the story of the Taj. And, I was excited. And it wasn't cheap. The ticket wasn't cheap. It was over $100. I went to watch that play. I went alone. But my entire excitement, some very wet and cold blanket thrown on my excitement and enthusiasm about going to the Taj because of what I witnessed, observed, and heard in the course of the play. Another betrayal. Another in-house betrayal that brought a kingdom down. So the issue of people conniving with outsiders it's not today. And that particular incident changed the trajectory of Indian history and culture till today. A son connived with some foreign powers to overthrow his mourning father and had his father imprisoned. I visited the cell where that father stayed and died. And he could only watch through the window. Through the window, you will see the Taj Mahal and his own tomb, that complex that he never finished. Well, the cell, the Red Fort, yes, in Agra, where the Red Fort is a military base. There's Red Fort in Delhi. There's Red Fort in Agra. The Red Fort in Agra, the cell of that king was on the same side of the river where he started the complex for his own tomb, which he never finished. But you could see from that his cell across the river. Oh, thank you guys. Okay, they are putting up on YouTube one of my pictures I took during that visit to see the Taj Mahal in Agra in India. Thank you guys. You imprisoned your father. Jealousy of what kind? Okay, he's mourning his wife. He did not love your mother, but he's loving this one so much so that he now built this beautiful place. And the only way, he didn't even say, okay, I will take over, I will rule. No, you went to go and invite foreigners to connive with you to overthrow your father. I was so sad. When the play finished, I took some pictures with the actors, the actresses. Was allowed. It was part of what I paid for, When the tour guide came and I'm like, no, I'm not going to that tomorrow. He said, so why? But you paid a whole lot of money. I said, I'm not going. He said, why? I told him, he said, well, I said, this is not love story, anything. For me, the number one thing up there is betrayal, family betrayal. And I know a few things about family betrayal myself. Nigeria has been going through so much betrayal internally. The peoples of Nigeria have been trusting the people who have presented themselves as leaders. And those leaders constantly have betrayed the people, have kept betraying the people of Nigeria. In most cases, conniving with outsiders for personal reasons, personal gains, at the detriment of the peoples of Nigeria. It has to stop. And the only people who can have such behavior stop are the people themselves. You must come to that realization. You must stop waiting to react to what they have done. You must now organize to set the pace for the discussions. We've said here, put it on record, demand, organize that 1999 constitution, that connivance, the indigenous peoples of Nigeria from across Nigeria, the religions, the ways of life, the culture that they have is nowhere represented in that constitution. The indigenous peoples of Nigeria from whichever part of Nigeria were not Christians, they were not Muslims, but they have just been sidelined completely. It should not happen. Nobody is saying you worship what you want to worship, believe what you want to believe, but please don't restrict people to say they must only believe in what you believe. They must only behave the way you behave. No. Behave in your own ways. If it pays you, fine. That's the other reason that the other thing that has to be in on that ballot is a referendum to decide how the peoples of Nigeria want to relate with themselves. And from what we've seen, go back, the 1963 Constitution is not perfect, but it's a better place to go to than the 1999 Constitution. There are too many things in the exclusive list in that Constitution that are the roots of the problems of Nigeria. One of it is the issue of natural resources. It should not be in that exclusive list. Natural resources should go back to the regions. Let regions extract their, then pay whether it's tax or contribution or whatever to the center. And there are too many controls. Like which day now they say state police had been debate. Who? In what form is that state police? I also understand that some legislators said no, we can't endorse this until we've read to see. Yes, that needs to happen. Because if the formation of state police has anything to do with any control from the federal government, no, it's wrong. It can't work. Nothing would have changed. So somebody could still stay in Abuja and tell all the commissioners of police or whatever in the states or the regions to say, no, wait, you can't do this. No. They must have autonomy. There will be some, you have the state police in the US, you have the FBI. Their roles are not the same. There are things that the FBI could get involved in. There are things they know that their jurisdiction don't get to those areas. Yeah. So it has to be like that. So it can't be the federal government dictating how state police, they can give the approval, okay, let's now let the state legislature, let the state government form their state police units following agreed guidelines for the individual states, not controlled by the federal government. No. Okay? If that is the idea of the state police, is dead on arrival. It can't work. It won't work. Okay? That it won't work because of central control again, even when you now say you have state police. I want you to listen to the next video. Like I said, if the people who are on constant travelers on the corridor of power are experiencing certain things. You begin to now wonder, you that have not gotten anywhere, how you've seen it play out in plain sight in recent times. Those children kidnapped from those Oyo schools are still in captivity. One of their teachers had lost his head. It was alleged that one of the children had also died. Alleged. Don't have any confirmation of that. And then a couple of weeks ago, a mother and 2 children were kidnapped on the streets of Ibadan. They are home now. What's the difference? What's the difference? A Nigerian Army general was kidnapped, his wife, just a retired general, his wife driving and going somewhere. It was kidnapped. He was in captivity for how long? The Nigerian Army did not move, did not do anything until he died. And the same, his captors, somehow his corpse miraculously arrived in the hands of the state government, who quickly arranged funeral service, claiming Islamic religion. No. That general, proper autopsy should have been done, documented to ascertain the cause of death. And nicely, that was after his death that then the military now remembered that it's possible that they have combat response capacities. Rescued his wife, but not without the woman receiving a bullet that is alleged to have been from the abductors, and all of those abductors escaped. You know what I think? I think we should all pray for that woman, for her to survive, so that we don't hear a story, oh, she did not survive from the bullet wound. Yeah. Because she knows enough. Yeah. There are things she's a witness of. What exactly was what killed her husband? The son had come out, I've read in some reports that his father did not have, was it diabetes or had no blood pressure issues. And then the story now went, oh, maybe it was a snake bite. Whatever it is, the wife would know what it is. But unfortunately, she might not be allowed to, say what she knows. So you should pray for her. You should pray for that woman. There's another person. Before I play you that video, the question is, why did the Nigerian Army wait till a general died in captivity before they could now say, oh, we know where these people are, we can go and attack? If we've been talking, if the talk has been about collateral damage, well, okay, maybe they use the issue of the abductors shot the wife before to say, okay, see what remains about. But they still shot her, we still rescued her. So what are you waiting for to respond to Oyo, to respond to Ekiti? I'm sure at this time, soldiers are all over at Ekiti, protecting who? And we have a governor who all is interested in is being re-elected into office. The people you are supposed to be leading, governing, they're in captivity for over 1 month. You could go home, sleep. You could campaign. Your wife could go home, sleep. The wife of the president came visiting. You are throwing parties. You are doing rallies. Yet, your citizens, your residents are in captivity. Did nothing, done nothing. Because whatever it is that you done, they are not free. But then people will go to the polls tomorrow, queue up. And then there will be a result. The result to do what? Any government that has failed to protect life and properties of its people has failed. Doesn't deserve to remain in office. None. Federal, state, local, whichever tier of government. There's an African country in the past 1 week, they announced they resigned because they didn't meet. I think it's Equatorial Guinea. The government resigned for not meeting. They said didn't meet target. And this one, they are not. It's not war. It's not loss of life. It's not. It's socioeconomic indices. But all that Nigerian politicians are interested is in election. This video by, I think he's the chairman of the PRP now, People's Extension Party now, narrated how his nephew was kidnapped. Sad story. This is somebody in power. This was somebody in power. Talk to everybody that was everybody about, release it, they were talking with. No, I want you to watch the video yourself. Listen, watch and listen yourself. We'll come back.
Last year, my nephew was kidnapped. My late sister's son, along with 3 people. They went to a farm they had hired, and they used to go there and farm things. And they were kidnapped on just a few miles after between Kaduna on the way to Kachia. They put up in this maybe house, maybe hotel in the village. In the night, bandits came. One of them tried to run away. They followed him, shot him dead, dragged his body back so that the other 3 can see what will happen if the other 3 try to run away. They didn't. They were taken just a few kilometers into the bush, and they spent 36 days there.
36 days?
36 days.
Your nephew?
I was my nephew, my sister's son. At that time, I was the special. I was the
special advisor political to the president.
I was working in the villa. There was hardly anybody I didn't speak to. We gave them the coordinates, which was easy to get. Where those 37 days, every single day, Malanza, we spoke with the bandits and we spoke with our nephew and the 2 other people. Every single day, with 4 or 5 of his uncles. Every day we conversed. Every day they would tell us their condition. We will negotiate. And they would tell us, the bandits will speak to us and give them the phone. We insisted on speaking to him because we wanted proof of life.
Yes.
And they kept making demands. They knew everything about him. They had done their research. The very day they picked him up, they said, "You are Ismail Sahabi."
You are what?
Yes. They said, your uncle is so. They were talking about me.
Special advisor to the president, living in the villa.
He's a big man. He works in the villa, so we are going to get a lot of money. They also told him about my other brother, Dati. He was what he was doing, and they said, so we are going to ask for a lot of money. They kept them there. The first time they said, they told us 25 million, and we thought, okay, we looked around for 25 million, and they wanted 3 motorcycles and a lot of drugs. Drugs, a lot of medication, rice, all sorts of things. And we sent it to them. They told us where to go.
You sent it?
Oh yeah, we sent it to them. But at the same time, we also told everybody, imagine in that position, I know just about everybody who was in government. And I could go walk into their offices and ask for sympathy. Please, it's my nephew. They're going to kill him if he's not rescued. And people say, oh, give us the coordinates. And it was easy to get the coordinates.
You gave them?
Yes, we gave them all the coordinates. They will say, oh, they will not spend. They spent 37 days. We spent, all in all, between the first day they were kidnapped and when they were released, we had spent close to 175 million naira. 175 million naira. Eventually they were released. This 175 was made up of about, I think, 120 million in cash in 3 batches. We sent people to them. They gave us directions. In one of the 3 times that they took money, they even ran into some military people who said, you are going in the wrong direction. This is the way to go.
I mean, when the bandits took the money,
yes,
and then moving to their escape routes.
The people we sent deliver the money got lost, and they said to the military, we are looking for this direction. We've been told to come here, and they said this is the wrong way to go.
And the military will tell them, okay, take left, take right.
Yes.
This is a serious indictment.
I'm sorry to say this.
Yes.
I regret this, but if you see, when we say things like there's a system behind this organization, and this is last year. Now, really, what's part of it is when our nephew was released, and we would ask him things like, well, what did they do with all that money? He will tell us. If we had sent money and it gets to them by 6 p.m., by 9 p.m., a whole bunch of their seniors will come, literally take away everything, leave a little bit of money, a little bit of drug, a little bit of medication in the camp where our nephew was held. And
he saw their seniors, I mean.
Oh yeah, people would come and collect this money. And they would tell them, we are just safekeepers. There are bosses, and they have bosses, and they have bosses. This is an industry.
Has he explained how they look, the bosses?
No, they never saw the bosses. The people who were holding them were just simply
sharing or comparing notes.
No. They were just keepers of these people. They had senior people ahead of them. And those people had senior people, and the ones who kept them would tell them, our bosses.
Is it because you lost confidence in government that you parted with this humongous amount? And don't you think it's actually a criminal act to pay ransom?
In retrospect, to be honest with you, I'm glad. We never went public, but we told government. We told everybody in government. I did, and I begged. I begged them. Because I didn't believe that those people would let them go, in spite of the fact that we were giving them.
And you are scared he might likely be killed.
Yes. When he was released, I could barely recognize him. He still limps.
Up till now?
Yes, from an injury he had.
I'm malnourished.
And if we hadn't given that money, I'm sure they would have killed him. In fact, the very last money we sent, close to 100 million, was because they said this is the last demand we'll make, and we want it by tomorrow or the 2 days, in 48 hours, or we'll kill these people. And my nephew said, they will kill us.
What did the security people, government, and all that told you ultimately? That they were...
We are trying to rescue them. 37 days. We are trying our best.
What do you think is, serve as encumbrance for our forces to rescue people from bushes?
There is a system behind this. These are not just riffraff, Fulani people who have... I think there is a whole organization. There is a very tight network of these people. They have intelligence. They have access to weapons. They have access to communities. They're not people who will pick the general and take him into the bush and his wife and keep him until he dies, for goodness sake. This can't be. People.
It was quite a long video. Welcome back. Okay, but then you needed to see all of it. This is a highly influential person in Nigeria. In that video, you heard him say they were in conversation with both the kidnappers and his nephew on a daily basis. Yet, it was not only that they paid all the ransom, even much more than delivered all the other stuff, including narcotics, but also that abduction, that kidnapping, that incident, that saga lasted for over 1 month. To that person in that position of, if you like, power. One more reason why you should organize and arm yourselves. In recent times, there's a story about some young people in the same Abia state, Abia, yes, that went and rescued some 2 young girls that had been kidnapped. And also, not like the Nigerian army in the case of General Rabi, that went and then all the kidnappers ran away. Only the kidnappers ran away. This one, the young people not only rescued the 2 young girls, they arrested the kidnappers. Okay? But in the case of the story that was told now, nothing. You heard him. He kept his cool and calm and was narrating what went on. But what's your take from all of it? I'll play a video of somebody whose take was not calm. And you should not be calm as well. I don't say you should become violent. No, the person's video I'm going to play, the person in it did not, but then he spoke. It's this agitation that I'm talking about. And this is somebody who still wields power, one way or the other. If all of the people we're talking about are sounding helpless and all they are doing is asking questions, why are we not? Why are we? What should be your own? That's why I played you that video at the top of this program from the DSS. Contact the DSS, organize, acquire firearms legally, get ready to defend your toughs. Okay? I'll play a video like General Olusegun Obasanjo. He was not happy. Neither should anybody be. Why is it not possible to crush this insurgents? Nigerian army has the capacity. Who is stopping them? Who has been stopping them? Who is the person? We asked the question several episodes ago. Who made the call to withdraw military, and then kidnappers could go and ship a bunches of children from a school? That has happened not once, multiple times. But this particular one was a Kebbi one. Who made the call? Who has been making those calls? Who are the saboteurs embedded in the military? Why won't there be saboteurs embedded in the military? If state actors are running a program that they say they won't found a very fancy name to call it, Operation State Safe Corridor, to integrate criminals back into society, killers, murderers back into society, without asking the hard questions about how those impact on general societal dynamics. Is it possible for a state governor to release criminals into the population without any input from government? I don't think so. So the governor of Borno State, Professor Zulum, I don't think he could have gone ahead to say he's reintegrating 3,000 so-called repented Boko Haram kids into the general population without having an approval from Abuja. I don't think so. I don't think it makes sense that a military general had been killed or had died in detention, and the response of the state government that had received his body, his family is still grieving, the society is still grieving, the military is still grieving, and the response of the state government is that these people are our brothers. We have safe corridor to reintegrate them into society. Then what are prisoners doing in any Nigerian prison? There are those who are in prison because they just happen to be in an environment at the wrong time, and they ended up, some of them on trial without trial for several years. They're still there. no second chance given to them. But you are talking about a government program of funneling killers into the society deliberately. Now, please, don't think that my imagination is running away with me. No. I give you receipts here about the same Alabi Isama in one of his books. In this particular, also in this documentary, the BBC documentary, skewed BBC documentary, I should say, put it on record that at about the beginning of the Civil War, the Biafra War, that the strength of the Nigerian military was about 10,000. So they had to recruit more men. How? So they didn't care. They went to the prisons, released criminals, even in his words, even if they had one eye, they didn't care. Just go. Yeah. So that practice of going to import, the same thing, the people who conducted the 1966, the January 1966 coup, like we said last episode, one of the reasons they gave was that it was preemptive. They wanted to prevent a rumored jihad. Is it still rumored? 60 years after. People inviting foreigners to come to destabilize the country, disunite a people that should have moved towards being unified, that should have moved towards founding a country that they feel belong, that they feel to address themselves, they feel comfortable to address themselves as citizens of. Not a country where people in power, people with authority and power, are giving television interviews about how family members are kidnapped and nothing could be done. They still had to pay ransom. Villages, communities are paying ransom for bandits to be able to go to farm. They are paying taxes to bandits in Nigeria. Nigerians, peoples, the residents of Nigeria are in IDP camps till today. Strangers, foreigners, whoever, people who don't belong to their communities are the people occupying their communities till today. And billions, if not trillions of naira are being budgeted for defense and security every year. So let's hear General Obasanjo. Let's hear General Obasanjo. We are going to have to opt a little bit. We've taken a whole lot of time. Okay. Let's hear General Obasanjo.
No matter what religion you belong to, no matter where you come from, no matter what profession, we Nigerians are being killed. And our governments seem to be incapable of protecting us. We are part of the world community. If our government cannot do it, we have right to call on the international community to do for us what our government cannot do for us. And for anybody to say because those who are being killed belong to this region, belong to this religion, belong to this tribe, and then others too are being killed, cannot be an acceptable excuse. Before I left government, I know we had capacity to pick up anybody in Nigeria who commits crime anywhere. The capacity that we didn't have then is after we have identified and located such a criminal, we have no capacity to be able to pick him up without moving on land or by air. Now we have capacity. With drones, you can sniff them up. You can take them out. Why are we not doing that? Why are we all apologizing? Why are we negotiating?
Welcome back. If General Obasanjo could feel that agitated, combatant, a major actor in the Civil War, Nigeria-Biafra War, the Nigeria Civil War, a military head of state, a two-term civilian head of state, sharing his experiences about what was possible during his time in office. And now, why there should be improvement, why is Nigeria gone back? I'm sure he must have just stopped himself from giving examples of what happened in Odi. Policemen were killed. We've shared it here before. I'm not clapping for killing people, but then you have to set the example and know who's in charge. And know you just don't do anything anyhow. And know that even the sponsors of this madness are brought to book. You don't leave people to start talking nonsense and carelessly all over the place, frightening some people while empowering some people to continue with atrocities. And they look untouchable. No. The time of untouchability has passed. Why isn't Nnamdi Kanu still in prison? What did he do? Under the circumstances now. Yes. No, what did Nnamdi Kanu do? To say defend yourself. How has what he said, how do they differ from even what the DSS DG said? The difference is what makes me not to, what at least put me off about him. It's his approach, his style. The DSS director calmly, he knows what he knows, shares his experience. Nnamdi Kanu shares a lot of, research and things he has read, not things he experienced. He didn't know anything about this war, except what he read somewhere, or such stories that would have been told him. But it was his presentation that people now latched onto. They chose to go after the messenger, but then refused to pay attention to his message. It has not changed. Today, some young people in the north have come out to say, look, we are noticing a pattern. It's been long. We need help. They are called Hausa youths. There's a nomenclature that used to be known as Hausa Fulani. They are saying, no, please, let's stop this. Let's speak to facts. But you know what the response has been? The official response? Their leaders have been detained, been arrested, to say about the same thing that the DG of DSS said in that video at first, for defending themselves, for saying, no, we have to defend ourselves. We are being killed. I did a little digging about the background of some of the, of the senior military officers that have been either killed in combat or abducted and died in abduction in captivity. What I found is troubling. And if you now add to that recent incidents about business people from specific backgrounds in the north, traditional rulers from specific backgrounds in the north, when you add all of that together, it's like, hello, what's going on? Ahmadu Bello's north was a monolithic concept of everybody is one. Whether his motive was for development or for control, well, he's not here today. Even if he were to have been for control, there's no positive evidence of the results of that control in the north. Instead, I think whatever his visions for development were have been hijacked by a group who have become selfish, very selfish and destructive, and obviously will stop at nothing to keep their stranglehold on their domination of the peoples of the north. But the Hausa youths are saying no. What's the response? What's the official response? They are being picked up. Not from the north. I have lived in the north. I have experiences with people from the north, even so now. Some of my closest friends are some of my closest friends are Fulani. And I keep saying to them, you guys have to speak up. Now, these people don't represent us. What is happening, and some of them are speaking, but in their private capacities and all of that. But Hausa youths are saying, if our fathers and grandfathers thought that this whole thing would work for, it has not worked. We have not seen the positive. No, what is happening to them? I want you to hear a group of Hausa youths. They're spoken Hausa. But what they are just saying is, we don't agree. We don't feel represented. We don't feel secure. One of the reasons they gave is the death of General Rabi. I want you to listen to them. You can go and use your AI application to translate what they are saying. Yes, learn languages. Yes, we could have done it for you, but deliberately we did not. So hear them in their, so that we are not misquoting them. So listen to them.
Assalamu alaikum jama'a. Yau 14 ga watan 6 shekara ta 2026. Sunana Abdullahi shugaban kungiyar Hausawan Najeriya kuma sarkin yakar 'yan ta'addan ƙasar Hausa. A tare da ni akwai shugabannin wannan kungiyar mai albarka. A yau mun fito domin mu sanar da duniya matsayarmu game da sha'anin tsaro a Najeriya. Abu na farko, mun fidda rai da cewa gwamnati za ta magance harkar tsaro a ƙasar nan. Ma'ana, kowa ya sai makami ya kare kansa, kamar yadda shugaban DSS da wasu daga cikin gwamnonin ƙasar nan da sarakuna suka yi kira. Hatta Ubangiji ya faɗa a cikin Kur'ani cewa wa idulahum mastata'tum min quwwa wa min ribadil khayl turhibuna bi aduwillah wa aduwakum. Kun ga anan za mu ƙara tabbatarwa cewa ba za mu fita daga cikin wannan masifar ba, tunda mun saba wa Allah kuma mun saba wa kira na jami'an tsaro. Idan har za a kama janar na soja, jami'an tsaro su kasa kubutar da shi, ina gani ko kai da ba jami'in tsaro ba. Saboda wannan dalilin nake jaddada kira cewa jama'a ku yi organizing ɗin kanku, ku kafa kwamiti na 'yan sa kai mai ƙarfi wanda kowa yana ciki, ko ka zama ɗaya daga cikin biyu, mai ɗauke da makami ko kuma mai ba da kuɗin siyan makami, amma babu na uku. Idan da mai ba mu gudunmawa kuma ya tuntuɓe mu, ba kuɗi muke bukata ba, mashina kawai muke bukata. Idan kuna neman shawara ku tuntuɓe mu, muna da shirin yaƙar wannan ta'addancin a cikin shekara 1, a yi ta ƙare. Wanda zai mutu ya mutu, wanda zai rayu ya rayu. Manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam yana cewa kada ka yi burin haɗuwa da abokan gaba, amma idan ka haɗu da su to ka tabbata. Kuma yana daga cikin kafirci juyawa abokin gaba lokacin da ya tunkare ka. Kuma muna kira da mutanen Zamfara, Katsina da duk inda wani gari da ake wannan ta'addancin, da cewa mu yi watsi da maganar sulhu da gwamnoni ke yi ko wasu kwamiti, mu ɗauki wannan a matsayin jihadi ne ya tunkaro mu, ko mu tunkare shi mu gama da shi, ko kuma mu zauna tsoro kada a ce mana 'yan ta'adda a zo gida a kashe mu. Bayan Allah ya ce a cikin Kur'ani, duk wanda ya yi maka ta'addanci ka mai ta'addanci, amma Allah baya son masu ƙetare iyaka. Kamar yadda muka sanar cewa ranar 1 ga watan 7 na 2026 za mu ƙaddamar da fito na fito, ma'ana jihadi akan 'yan ta'adda masu garkuwa da mutane, ko mu ko su. Wannan kiran muna buƙatar haɗin kan jama'a domin cin nasara a wannan fito na fito da muka shirya yi ga 'yan ta'adda. Domin mu tunkare su har maɓoyarsu, mun daina jira sai sun kawo mana hari, za mu ɗau mataki. Daga ƙarshe ina kira ga gwamnati da jami'an tsaro da su fidda hannunsu a cikin.
Welcome back. You might not have heard all of that, but we had to play all of it so that it's in context. So nobody quotes anybody out of context. It's not me speaking. But one thing stands out from all of that. Yes, people are no longer keeping quiet. But who is listening to them? There still continues to be selective attention, selective justice. Their leaders are being picked up, being detained by the same security agencies that are asking you to arm yourself and defend yourself. And are saying the same thing they say you should do. The leaders of these different groups are saying, including Nnamdi Kanu, he's in prison. Okay? Shouldn't those things be reviewed? Instead of now this story about the Nigerian government saying he should be given a death sentence. Death sentence for doing what? For saying the same things that the DG of DSS just said in the videos I just played for you. You might not have liked his voice. It's not everybody that's listening to me here that would like my voice or my style of presentation. But what's important is, what are we saying? What are you saying? How are you saying what you're saying? How am I saying the things I'm saying? Stand and fault the evidence that I'm presenting to you in the videos. The videos I'm playing, stand and fault the things that the people in the videos are saying. While some political leaders, whether military or civilian, have told you that, no, I don't want them to kill me. I can't come and die. They will kill me. I will step on toes, including the present president of Nigeria. Confirmed by Haja Najatu. We'll play another video of her responding to harassment, according to her, by the current National Security Advisor of Nigeria, Nuhu Ribad. But before we play you Haja Najatu's video, I want to play you a video of somebody who we are saying, guys, wake up. Throw away all the rhetorics about religion and tribe and this and that away. Look for people who have said, we are here for you, who will stand for you. Peter Obi and Senator, Doctor, Engineer, he's all of them. Rabbi Mustafa Kwaso. I want to play you a video of Peter Obi. In all of that, all I've said all day, what you see are hopelessness. What you see is hopelessness. Even the one that say, go and acquire arm. Why would you go and acquire arm if everything is working? If everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, what do you need to have firearms for? In a country that doesn't have a tradition of approval of firearms for the civilian population. But Nigeria is gradually going into that, and it will not end well. Even when people acquire such firearms legally and have papers, it's not everybody who acquired those firearms that would not find that. Some of them will find ways of using them illegally, including in domestic issues. Yes. Okay? But in that whole milieu of people, cacophony of voices that present hopelessness, that present fear and all of that, there's a voice. The voice I'm asking people to listen to now, listen to. I've never met Peter Obi. I've never met Alhaji Rabiu Mustapha Kwanso. But I've listened to them. I've read, I have followed, I have researched what people research to listen to rumors. They're not looking at substance. In my entire life, all 66 years of it, this is the first Nigerian who I've had to say, I would die for Nigeria on camera, record. I want you to hear it from him, not me. Others have been saying, including General Babangida, no, they will kill me. President Tinubu, presently, they will kill me if I do well. This one says, I'm ready to die. If you come out to say you want to lead, and they are killing your people, you're ready to die to stop the people who are killing your people. Yes. The other ones want to eat their cakes and have it. But he's telling you, no, this is going to be different. Please, I want you to hear it.
I cannot say buy a new jet, even if you need one. I don't need one. You don't need one because you can go to anywhere with that jet. I will never need one.
You fly Airpeace, you fly Ghana, you fly
Of course, baby, say, I will not use 150 billion to buy a jet when 80% of our primary health care centers are not functioning.
Even as against security protocols.
Which security?
You've been a governor, you know
No, what do you mean security? That's what they tell. That's nonsense they tell. I was a governor for my first 4 years. I drove 406. For the rest of it, I didn't drive bulletproof cars. Nobody's trying to kill you if you're doing the right thing. It's when you do the wrong thing that you're feeling about that.
Would security agency even allow you?
No, forget all those things. If if your people are dying, you should be ready to die. That's the job you chose. Or you go back to your house and live quietly. The president should also be ready to die if your people are dying. Why should you have? We have security vehicles. No, you can fly. Who is protecting you in the air? If you crash with everybody dies, the British Airways flies every day. How many people have died? Are they going to provide you security in the air?
I don't know about you. Welcome back from listening to Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. I don't know who you want to follow. A commander-in-chief that says we die here to solve this problem, and the one that says, look, please, so I don't want it, they will kill me. Besides that, I want to play another video now by another person. I didn't want to talk about him because, again, I'm like, okay, but no, because this is not local personal. They said something that should make some sense to you in the public domain. Because what I'm going to say about him, things that happened partly in public, and then he decided to send me a private message. And that private message made me to make up my mind to exit from every social media group to which I had been part of, sharing my opinions about socio-political issues in Nigeria. And from here, from here, especially leading into the 2023 general elections. This individual who were like, Emiloko, this guy is bad news. We should not get to Aso Rock for any reason. For anybody who wants the best for the peoples of Nigeria. It was not personal. It was about things that you could run a local eatery very well. Don't make it that you know that you'll be able to run a national food program. No. I mean, as simplistic as that analogy might sound. No. Even the local eatery that you run, how did you run it? You have tickets, have things to show that no, it didn't go well. All of it were put in the packages of allege, even when the alleges have receipts. Alpha beta, taxation. Somebody went to court building, got burnt. Another person fell off the building. You see, when certain things that it can't just be rumor. But then, well, it's rumor, it's alleged. But then we said, look, why don't you just leave this person and focus on other people to try to solve this problem? This person has too many baggages that it will be an error for him to carry into Asuro. Then listen, this person whose video I want to play for you, those were my positions in most of those discussion platforms. There's a particular one that we both belong to, was National Democratic Forum, NDF Forum, on WhatsApp. And then once, after making one of such posts, where I said specific things about the president of Nigeria as to why it will be a bad news that will make people feel that they even want Buhari to come back to government. What's happening now? And this guy now decided to send me a message inbox me. You are Yoruba now. Shouldn't you be supporting your brother? Which I told him, who is your brother? My thing is the peoples of Nigeria first. Yeah, not even my family. The peoples of Nigeria first, especially if you are stepping out to say you want to lead. If you cannot unite, don't come out, don't lead. Go and be regional leader, remain within your region so that you can play your party and tribal politics at that local level. If you come out to the national scene, if you don't have qualities to unite people, don't come. And that guy was a bad news. When I said that guy, I'm talking about the present president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I said, and this guy said, but you should be supporting. And I told him, I said, you are part of the problem. You come out in the general, discussion group. You're talking nicely. You're making people feel that you are, but behind, you're trying to build a tribal, parochial gang to support a particular. On the outside, people listening to you, it would be like, oh, you have a national. He doesn't have till now. He works for Tinubu still, even till now. So the video I'm going to play for you, in it, he's sounding that he's calling Tinubu out, what he said to them in the meeting. Well, one way or the other, they will expose themselves. It's people who are inside that will say what they are saying. You are not there. So if for whatever reasons now, but don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that people can't change their mind, people cannot become, but it's not likely that way. No, it's still a script that's going on. This guy alleged that they went to visit a group of political party leaders, went to visit the president, Ramadan time, to say, okay, this, that. And then Tinubu got angry to say, why should he endorse electoral acts that should be free and fair? So that you know what, what is loaded, what has loaded up. Not even, it's even this whole issue of the registration of certain political parties, and then INEC going to court to challenge it, to say you cannot do. It's all play acting. It's all to make you feel that INEC is somehow going to. No, be ready. That's a distraction. We started this program. When you listen to our in-house video, which we're going to play quickly as well, because this program is going beyond our time. Okay, you get to see that it's just a distraction. They just want you to have talking points away from the main issues. But I want you to listen to Prince Adebayo. I think he's the SDP presidential candidate. We're not going to play. I'm not going to play the whole of that video because I'm just going to stop where he said what he's reporting as what Tinubu said to them at that meeting. His other analysis is bunkum because that's been his pattern. I'm repeating it on record. This guy sent me in an inbox Why are you not supporting your brother? It's your brother now. Why brother? Brother thing is what Nigeria thinks. So right now he's still in that. Forget whatever he comes outside to say. After all, Tinubu started his journey from the SDP. Don't forget that. Okay, so let's listen to Prince Adebayo. Okay, like I said, we're not going to play the whole of that video because we don't have the time for it.
I will say, Mr. President, you are our leader, you are our father. Please, remember your duty to this country. You are our head of state. This electoral act that you are shuffling down the throat of the National Assembly is not good for the country. In election, only one person can win. But we want that person not to lose by winning. Because an election should not result in a politician winning and people losing. Who will you lead? And we made so many respectful and persuasive pleas to the president as the father of the nation. The president will have said, okay, I've heard you, I'll pray over it. He just jumped up and said, oh, you provoke me. Why should I help the nation? Why should I help you? I'm contesting. It's on tape, what I'm saying. I'm contesting. They're provoking me. When I was in opposition, I suffered. So go and suffer your own. Why should I make laws that favor free and fair election? Wow. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. Who said we must vote? You can sleep in your house. If it's only 3 people that vote for me, I win. My God. And he concluded. I say, politics is a game, and the game is sweet when you are winning. Wow. Anyhow. He said it. You can go and look for the tape. Anyhow. At that moment, he ceased to be head of state. Just like any other politician, without reflection. Come down. So that's the moment we started to go to the National Assembly to go and protest that the law should not be made. And we talked to the assembly members. When they are calling me now that you were right, when you say we should not pass that thing, I told them that if you think that all of you rush to APC, become a one-party state, you are not going to become a one-party state. Tinubu is going to have a one-man rule. And one-man rule is going to mean one man ruling the nation. So this is why we are now coming back to the people. To say, don't say that your responsibility is to go on that day to go and thumbprint. If you cannot own the process, don't even bother to do it. Because there is no government doing it for you. Second reason why we are doing this is that INEC, the institution that is given the constitutional and legislative power to conduct elections, we have been battling with them, correcting them at any meeting. This year alone, my own party, I don't know other parties, we've written 182 letters to INEC. Each one reminding them of their duty, on top of other meetings. Even the people in INEC are tired of being INEC. If you give a with sick leave now, if I have to give a sick leave, you will ask for 3 years sick leave. Because the government is still the INEC. You just put them there as figureheads. And we are now trying. We're not just opposing INEC. Because when we started with all our INEC people are just incompetent, when we started struggling with them, even if you take a letter to INEC, there are some letters they will see, they will take phone and call Villa. If they say don't collect, they don't collect. If they say collect and throw away, they collect and throw away. So they themselves need to be rescued. The people need to go to INEC and remind INEC that they are the original landlord, even on the land on which is.
You had Prince Adebayo, right? Yes, you had him. Welcome back. Like I said, here's the reason I exited my membership of all of the, WhatsApp group that I had. Some of them, other family members or friends who feel Richie, would like to have your opinion, have your contribution on this platform. That's okay, go ahead, join me. No, I don't have. But here's the reason for which I exited the NDF, Nigeria Democratic Forum platform on WhatsApp, and the same day exited every other one. Since then, I'm talking about before the results of the 2023 elections were, declared. And I've not gone back to join any group. I thank God that I decided, after reviewing so many things, to have this live stream and podcast started almost 1 year ago, August of last year, 2025. Okay, you heard him. I'm not in that group, so I couldn't have heard what Tinubu said. So it would take people like him to come out and say, this is what this person said, to make himself look good. He's still working for Tinubu. I can assure you of that. So all of this, it's distracting. He says in that video, I'm contesting to win. How? Okay? It's all distracting. It's all same group. At the end of the day, in that NDF, anybody can go, these are historical, go and check. And the open, he was against Tinubu, saying some of the things he was saying. But he sent me a private message, inbox. It's your brother, defend him. All of us now, if we don't defend him, who is all of you? Who is all of you? What has happened now? He didn't hear anything we said. Now, if he didn't end up, you've had Peter Obi himself declare that he didn't win that election. You've had people like Delifaro to me declare he didn't win that election. But he's there as president. What's the result? When people take control of what they don't deserve, what you're having now is what happens. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, but it's important to hear what the person that some of you are saying, oh, let's see on your mandate. Which mandate? The mandate, whether he won or didn't win, that put him in Aso Rock there, is at the end. It's coming to an end. For you to get another thing, you have to earn it. It's not automatic. It's not by force. You cannot force the people. It will not end well this time. It won't. It will not. Whether you are saying that they are using insecurity to want to chase you out, you did the same thing to others in the past. So if they are using the same playbook you people wrote, published, being used, our concern is the peoples of Nigeria, not you. And the peoples of Nigeria should take the advice of the DSSDG. That's, you see, I have a pad now which to land to make my point. Yes, I'm landing on that video, on that history. Now it's on record. He cannot say tomorrow he didn't say so. I didn't quote him out of context. I played the whole video so that you can hear him clearly and follow his. Okay? They don't care about you. They do not care about you. I want you to hear the soldier so that you understand all of this. Peter Obi has said, I will die. I'm here. There's another video. I'm not going to play it for you. I'm not going to tell you what he said. You must have seen it. You must have seen it. Okay? It's about the same stand. We'll die here. If they're killing my people, I'm going to become the president. I'm the president. I'm ready to die for Nigeria. And he says in that other video, which I won't play, that it's either the terrorists are in charge of Nigeria or he's in charge. You want a leader that will say that. The military want a leadership that will say that. The security agencies want a leadership that will take that kind of responsibility and stand on it. It's the same thing that General Obasanjo was feeling frustrated about. Why the leader you have there can't say so, can't behave so, can't perform so. So they are not isolated. They are not unrelated videos or positions that I'm presenting to you here. I'm building a case, and yeah, you see it logical. Now I want to show you the other reason why you should know that you got to a soldier. When we started, this was the position they were running from us, and then gradually somebody will make a call, return this, return that, until they didn't have anything to even defend themselves, not to talk about go on the offensive against those people. Please, let's play the video for the soldier. Yes, that's, and for doing that and saying, look, we are not going to fight. If we don't have equipment, we can't fight. Of course, in military terms, that's mutiny. That's against the law of the military. But then, morally, are they right or wrong? That he's alive is doing a video that we can show, says that some people think, okay, that's moral right in what they're saying. Give us what we need to defend ourselves and defend the people and rout these people. So some people do not want terrorism, insurgency, banditry to end in Nigeria. I've been saying to you that they have made the Nigerian military to look ineffective. This is my evidence. Okay? This is part of that evidence. It's not an accident. So let's watch this video, please.
There's a soldier in the Nigerian army that a death sentence was placed on his head, and I'm just about to interview him right now before I leave Lagos to Abuja. So it was even United Nations that tried to help the soldier, but I must tell his story tonight. Come with me, let's do this.
The reason why death sentence was pronounced as charge, we were very well equipped with weapons, not just weapons, as in Russian-made weapons. Weapons like the T-55, armor tank carrier, the GPMG. These were weapons we fought with. The mine detector machine. That machine can detect a mine or a bomb from 300 meters. We go to fight and then we'll come back, we feel as if nothing happened. But meanwhile, we have caused destruction, like deep destruction in enemy's camp. We did bad things to terrorists. I wouldn't lie to you, let me be honest.
But don't mention them.
I can't mention them, but we did dirty. Before you know, they'll ask us to bring the detector machine back to the headquarters. Before you know, one or two, before you know, weapons, we were empty now. We had only the rifle, our rifles now, normal rifles. So each time we go for attack, we discover how difficult it is, you understand, to succeed. Because without those machines, it will be very difficult to be successful in any mission. At that point, we said if we don't get those weapons back, that we are going to terminate the mission. When we noticed that the request was not met, we became demoralized. Things are happening in your country. See kidnappers everywhere. See bandits. Are they bastards in our country where we have men? My men do. I just pray that the government, revisit our case, and then you see and you hear how the game plays.
Why did the army put a death sentence on your head? What did you do?
Yes, the army put a death sentence on my head and that of 53 other special forces soldiers. Not just fat leg soldiers, trained combatant special forces, to make 54 special forces soldiers. From 101 battalion, we were deployed in the northeast as at the time of Goodluck Jonathan. That time was even when terrorism in Nigeria was at its peak. While we went for courses and came back, our countenance changed. Our mode of operation changed. We began to see terrorists as deep threat, not just threat, deep threat to national security. And then we were very well equipped with weapons, not just weapons, as in Russian-made weapons. Weapons like the T-55, the armor tank carrier, and the GPMG, the BMG, and the anti-aircraft machine guns. These were weapons we fought with.
Welcome back. Thank you for watching that video. It's a long video. It's over 20. It's about 20 minutes. So I just wanted you to hear up to where he narrated what they had at the beginning, what the results of those encounters were at the beginning, until there's somebody that has to say, return this, return that. For soldiers who were confronting, who were overpowering insurgents, okay, then you now weaken them by saying return this until they had nothing to. And they said, no, if we don't have those, we're not fighting. And then you do what? What's the response? You should go so they massacre them, which has been what has been happening. Yet, trillions, billions, if not trillions, have been being budgeted for defense. There are members of the legislature that have been insisting on a probe on defense budgets. And you have some members of the same legislature that are shouting down such suggestions and motions. Enemies within. Enemies within. I want to play you at this point our in-house video. Okay, let's quickly play our in-house video, and then we'll wrap this episode up by taking just a couple of responses or questions from community members. Okay, thank you. Let's play our in-house video.
There comes a point in where silence stops being patience and starts being permission. Nigeria reached that point a long time ago, and far too many of her peoples have kept living as if they had not noticed. This is episode 7 of the quest for a safe Nigeria. Please subscribe and turn on notifications right now so you never miss a video in this series. Every serious conversation in Nigeria has been met by a familiar response from the peoples of Nigeria. They share it, they shake their heads, they say a prayer, and then they become silent about the issue and move on to the next distraction the compromised news outlets hand them. Nigeria's political class depends on that silence. It depends on citizens who complain in private but comply in public, who post outrage online and then return to business as usual, who allow tribal and religious noise to drown out the one conversation that should matter most: accountability. The peoples of Nigeria have long been told what to speak up about and when. Now, they need to take the initiative, bring up, and demand accountability about pressing issues of their choice. There needs to be an end to the hypocrisy of leaders who claim divine authority while the Quran and Bible, and other religious texts condemn their actions. This could be helped by a transition back to regions so that each part of this never federation could govern itself at its own pace. And there needs to be an honest answer to the question of why Nnamdi Kanu remains in detention while those who have done far worse than just his abrasive rhetorics walk free and even seek public office. Consider the logic being applied to the rehabilitation of terrorists. If the government could call Boko Haram members and other terrorists and bandits brothers, rehabilitate them, and hand them money after a 3-month program, then by that same logic, there needs to be a release of every prisoner in prisons across Nigeria once they say they are sorry and complete the same program. In any sensible society, the idea of such programs would be laughed at, but that is not the case in Nigeria. Many years ago, before this present crisis, there was a voice from Enugu, southeast Nigeria, who understood that silence in the face of tyranny was a form of complicity. Celestine Ukwu was born in Enugu, southeast Nigeria, in 1940 to a family of musicians. After the Nigerian Civil War brought his early career to a standstill, he re-emerged with a philosophy that ran through every record he made, earning him the title of High Life's Great Philosopher. His 1971 song F.A.C. Nachi poses a powerful rebuke. A mouth that says man is not God, yet claims to be a god himself, let him then do the things that made the Almighty God to be God. The song is aimed at every man and woman who would mistake human authority or positional power for divinity. Nigeria's leaders have been making that same mistake for over 60 years, and Celestine Ukwu was not afraid to say so, even in a Nigeria still raw from war and unaccustomed to dissent. If a musician in 1971 could find the courage to challenge unchecked human power through a song, the ordinary peoples of Nigeria in 2026 can certainly find the courage to challenge it through their votes, their voices, and their refusal to look away. Mr. Peter Obi and engineer Rabiu Kwankwaso have already shown what governing with accountability looks like in Anambra State southeast Nigeria, and Kano State northwest Nigeria. What the nation needs now is a population that matches that example with the same seriousness, collecting their PVCs, demanding a restructuring constitution review referendum on the 2027 ballot, and refusing to let silence pass for consent and peace any longer. The time for the peoples of Nigeria to speak up is now, not later. Keeping quiet is no longer an option. That the peoples of Nigeria have been keeping quiet has been the steroid that Nigerian politicians and elites have been consuming to create more divisive and retrogressive contrivances that continue to diminish the well-being of the peoples of Nigeria. There needs to be a collective demand to speak up about insecurity. There needs to be a collective demand to speak up about corruption. There needs to be a collective demand to speak up about every leader asking the peoples of Nigeria to wait quietly for a better tomorrow that never seems to arrive. Our full live stream goes much deeper on all of this. Watch it at May Nigeria Never Happened to You and bring your questions. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with everyone you know with interest in Nigeria's development and well-being. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next video. May Nigeria happen for all its peoples, and for friends of Nigeria.
Welcome back. Thank you for watching our in-house video. Celestine Okwu says, onye si na ya chi ya megene ka oziburu Chukwu. We're often quick to say, you are not God, no man is God. But then you have some human beings who have begun to equate themselves with God or to God. Yet, they are not able to do what only God can do. And Celestine Okwu in that song, of every other thing that was said in that video, challenges them. If you say you are God, perform as God. Be equitable, be fair, attend to needs, heal the wounded, defend the defenseless. No, they're not. You're not God. You can't be God. God is still on the side of the peoples of Nigeria. Never lose sight of that. Because even you acknowledge that. That's why you ask them to go and pray. But have you done what you are in position to do? No. Somebody is saying, I can. I'm ready to die doing it. It's up to you now, the peoples of Nigeria, to say, okay, let's try this. Yes. If he doesn't succeed, get him out of the place. That is what it's supposed to be. Okay? So thank you so very much. I'm going to take a couple of contributions from community members. We've gone far beyond our regular timings on this program. The first one here says, what specific psychological mechanisms allow people to witness injustices repeatedly yet to return to normalcy? Is this uniquely Nigeria or universal human coping mechanism? No, it's not a universal coping mechanism. It's the same thing we've been saying here. The political class and the elites of Nigeria, they are co-conspirators, the elites of Nigeria, have connived to normalize pain, to normalize abnormalities and make you feel that you are helpless. There's nothing. That's what we are saying. That normalization has gotten into the security agencies to frighten Nigeria, the peoples of Nigeria the more, to feel that if such is so, there's a bigger agenda. That agenda has not come to its final conclusion. It's on its way. The only people who can stop it from happening are you, the peoples of Nigeria. By quoting the Director General of the DSS that says, approach us, organize, arm yourselves, defend yourself, and chase these persons out of the space called Nigeria, like the people of Azare did. He gave you examples, so it's not me. Okay? It's not normal, it's not universal. No. People have stood up to say, well, we keep giving you, referring to a country called Yugoslavia. Yeah. It's not a country of about, it's not a space now of about 7 different independent countries. Not regions, not federation, no. Independent national countries with their own citizenship along the lines of ethnicity, religion, and all of that. But they didn't get to be that peacefully. But Nigeria is in a position where that can still happen peacefully. It's not going to work that one group would want to dominate. Look at what's happening in the north. It was unheard of even 20 years ago that a group of youth are saying, no, we are Hausa now. We are not part of, no. Why? That's the group of Nigerians that have come to see the folly in the parochialism and bigotry that their grandfathers and fathers had perpetrated over time, either willingly or unwillingly. Okay? The second contribution I'm going to take here, I believe every Nigerian should refuse to pay taxes until the constitution is restructured. The taxes you're paying, who is collecting them in the first place? I won't say yes, I won't agree to this. Okay? Don't use one wrong to want to correct another wrong. Continue. Those who have been paying, who continue to pay. But demand accountability. Thankfully, we have a whole episode in this series of the quest for a safe Nigeria that is wholly on taxation. Yes, we have a whole episode on taxation. We'll come to that. Okay, so I'm not going to take more of your time. There's a whole lot of other. I'm so sorry. I apologize. We have really eaten into your time to go do other things. So we're going to respond to those in chats. Okay, all of the other contributions that I've made here, we're going to respond to them in chats. Okay, you have the liberty to send me direct messages. I will respond. Okay, thank you for having been part of our show today. I'm grateful to all. Wow, we have gone beyond 11K even on TikTok. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for all of you that have subscribed to be part of our channel, community members on YouTube. Please, we're still appealing. We still are focused and dedicated on producing the documentary on Nigeria using my book, Biafra, Lest We Forget To, as the backdrop to also include stories by other victims and survivors of that war. For the rest of us to learn. What have we done today? What have we been doing on this program? We've been playing you videos of what people have been saying from which you can learn stuff. So we want to produce that documentary to correct impressions or narrative that people have stated which are not true. From people like General Basanjo to people like General Gowon to General Abdul Salam Abakar to Alabi Sama. Yeah, I witnessed that war. I survived it, not on script. I've shown you marks. I have narrated the narrative about they were shooting at palm trees. I've done videos about those. I want to do this documentary, show you real time, real evidence of people, not for Alabi Sama say one chief cooked meal for them using human flesh. You hear stories from people who were actually really involved from the perspective of, from the angle of the ordinary people, not the soldiers who were the ones doing the killings and committing, genocidal atrocities. Okay, so I want to thank you for being part of my show for today. Still, may Nigeria never happen to you, but at the beginning, at the top of it, I say a prayer. May Nigeria never happen to you. My name is Richie Adeus. This is still Nostalgia Media. Okay, and then on this program, as always, our prayer is always may Nigeria happen to all the peoples of Nigeria and friends of Nigeria. Till I catch you on the next one, bye-bye. Thank you.